Yeah, so welcome to the AMA session. As you might all know, we published a roadmap for Plone 6, which includes shipping with Volto. There was lots of discussion happening in the on the community board, which is great. And we just thought that it would be a good idea to host a session where people could just ask their questions or tell us their concerns about Volto, or just give us feedback. That's what we're doing here. If that works well and people like it, then we could imagine to do that on a regular basis. Because what we as Volto team, if you will, are trying to do right now is like onboarding people, right? Convincing people that Volto is a great thing, and helping them to start working with Volto, no matter if it's like developers or agencies or companies. We would like them to help to pick up Volto and learn it, right? And we're aware that we don't have like all the documentation and everything that's needed for Volto to be Plone 6. But we would like to make that happen in the next year, and for that we need feedback from people, and we need other companies to jump in and help us developing Plone 6, right? So first question would be to everybody here: do you want us to give you a short overview over Volto, or have you all like tried that out and you know the basics? Anybody here who would want to see a basic introduction?
So I tried it. I think I know the recent state.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you can always try it out on voltokitconcept.com, right? We always ship the latest version there. If we do a release, we make sure that we ship it there, and so you all tried it out there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then if you want, we could start with the question session. Is anybody here who would like to discuss the topic or has any particular questions?
Timo, Stefania says if we can have that short introduction.
Say again, who?
Stefania.
Oh, Stefania. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, would be great. I have two colleagues in a call. So I personally, I do not have tested it, and the other one neither. So if you have 5 minutes to make a short introduction, would be nice.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. We're more than happy to do that. So yeah. So that's voltokitconcept.com, right? You get the same when you download, install it, and run the Docker container or Plone API. So this is how Volto looks like. This is the design that Albert Casado gave us. And the structure is pretty much the same that you know from standard Plone, right? We have the logo on the left, and we have the bar. We have login and registration. We have the site search. Then we have the content area, and we have the footer, right? So you can just hit the login button, and you will see a login form. This is auto-filled because of my browser, right? So you can just use admin. That's a Docker container here, so it's always refreshed overnight. So you can't like do anything wrong here. Then you can just hit login, and when you're logged in, then you see on the left side a toolbar, right? Apart from that, the site looks exactly the same. You can also hide the toolbar. You only have a slide, the slide toolbar on the left side, and that's it. So we tried to, or Albert tried to keep the Plone menus as supple as possible, right? You can navigate, of course, through the site, and we kept the in-place editing functionality of Plone that you can always go to a place and then hit the edit button and edit the current page, right? Which is important. Pasaga UI also reduced the number of icons that we have here, and we try to focus on the most important actions that the users could do at a certain content object, right? You see here the front page, and the thing that people most do in most cases is edit, right? So you can hit the edit button, and then you will go to the edit view. You can go to the folder contents view, then you the classic folder contents view of Plone in our modern React version, and you can add a new object like a page, right? And all the other things are here in those three dots. So we try to focus from React's point of view on the most important things. One other key idea of Pasanaga UI is the toolbar that adapts automatically to the current status. So if you click edit here, the toolbar will only show you the actions that you can do here. You can save, or you can cancel, right? So the toolbar will always adapt to the current state and make it really easy for the user to focus on the actions that are actually possible. So if you're in edit mode in Volto, you see that the edit mode looks almost exactly like the view mode, right? It's like something new in Volto, something that Plone had as an idea always is in-place editing and have the same look and feel. And so far, we were only able to do that on a very low level with tiny MCE and trying to make sure that the styles works. But with Volto, at the first time, we have the option to like really see what you get, right? And really edit what you get. And it's super simple. If you want to edit something, you hit the edit button, and then you can click into the text that you want to change. And then you can say, welcome to Plone 6, for instance. And you can just click into the other tiles here. And you can also add new tiles if you just hit return, right? Hello, Plone 6, for instance. You can hit return and have another paragraph. We also support, of course, non-text elements. You see this small plus sign here on the left side. If you click that, you see the other tile options that we have. In Plone, we call them tiles because that's how we call them in Deco and Mosaic and all the other editors, and how we call them internally. In Gutenberg, they're called blocks. In the end, it's the same. So we have different options here. The two main options are image tiles and video tiles. If I click on the image tile, I have a placeholder, and I can here easily browse with typing something, or choose one element from my computer, and I can just upload the image. I hope it's a nice image that I upload. It's a larger one, so it takes a while. Oh crap! And then you have the image upload.
There's a German guy in the picture.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've tested that before. I have a nicer picture. So when you upload the thing, you see immediately what next action you can do as a user, right? You're not distracted in any way. You see directly that you have the image upload, and then you can choose how you want to display the image, right? So you can, for instance, display it inline on the left side or on the right side, or full width, or even like the full width of the page, right? So you can easily switch between the options, and then you will see automatically what happens here, right? And if you hit the save button, then you see the exact same thing, right? So you really have what you see is what you get. So you can add it here and add another tile. So we have the YouTube tile. I will skip that here. And here we have like the additional tiles, right? That we have. So far, we have only like 3 additional tiles, but we have more than 10 tiles in the pipeline that we're currently implementing. So the tiles that we have here is what we call a hero tile, which I will show soon. This is a Google Maps tile, and this is a HTML tile. So I will show the hero tile. Hero elements is something where you show an image on the left and title and description on the right, so you can upload an image. Hope I will do a better choice here. So it uploads the image here on the left side. Those are unsplash image, so they are 10 megabytes or something. So that's not internet connection, which is still not Volto. Okay, what the hell is that? Okay, so yeah, should have checked that before. Here you have the title, and then you have the description here that you can type, right? And then you have to have a hero tile, for instance. I won't go through all tiles, but you have the HTML tile, right, where you can, for instance, just drop any arbitrary HTML, right? So you can say h2 high. Oops. Of course, we don't have an automated like preview, but if you hit the save button, then you
we have an automatic preview.
We have, okay.
Yeah, in the I button.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay, didn't know that. I should check the tiles that we have, or Victor do the walkthrough. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, it's a hidden goodie.
Okay, yeah, that's super nice. Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So which each file you can also like drag and drop them here, right? You can delete them here if you want. As said, you can just go into the text, hit return, and then just type. And every paragraph is an individual tile, right? So that's pretty intuitive, and then you just hit save. So that's the basic content editing experience of Volto. The additional parts that we have are things that are like kind of well known in Plone. You have, for instance, here the contents view, right? This is the folder contents view. Written in React, so it's super fast, right? So you can just go to you can see the content view, and you can also just like drag and drop things here, change the order. You have bulk actions where you can just say I want to delete those items, right? Then you can delete them, and apply tags. Can you create edit, copy, view, so everything that you know from standard Plone is in here as well. We also have basic user-specific actions like user preferences or the site setup. We implemented all the basic control panels already that are based on Plone registry, so we can auto-generate them. The users and groups control panel is still in the making. I think that's really important. That's still work in progress, but we're getting there. But the most important content management are there. A few niceties about like React. So you have you can just zoom in an image. That's just the React library that we use. That's a cool thing about React. Add libraries there. And that's the basic walkthrough. Volto, I guess. Rob, Victor, did I miss anything important?
No, the search maybe
Okay.
personal preferences of a user.
Yep. Okay. There you have the search results, right? And personal preferences here from the user, setting passwords, personal information, and those kind of things. And that's it. Any questions?
Yeah, maybe I have a question. So what is missing? It looks so beautiful. It looks so full of stuff. What is missing?
It is complete. I mean, we used it at KidConcept for like two large projects, right? We have that, that code in production. So the basics are definitely there. No question about that. The things that are missing are like in the editor. Of course, we want to be able to do more, right? We want to have the additional tiles that we imagine. We want more hero tiles. We want things like a collection tile that allows you to like replace collections. We want to simplify Plone in general in terms of getting rid of the default page and only work with folderish pages. You can just say, I want to add a new page, and then, for instance, just add a collection tile here, and then make that a listing, right? And then add additional pages to that. Yeah, so there are about, I would say, like 7 to 8 like tiles maybe missing that we need for listings things, but also adding additional features to Plone that Plone doesn't have yet. There's lots of details, I'd say, in the editor, because we want to make it really user friendly. I think the editor is great already. The user experience is already really good, but we're aiming for the future. We really want to be like the most user friendly CMS like that's out there. So this is definitely something where we have to do lots of detail work, but as said, I mean, what we already accomplished is great. I mean, the work that Victor and Rob did on the editor, and specifically Rob, is just great, right? That's awesome. But we still want more. So we want to polish the user experience. We're working closely with Albert, who gives us constant feedback on the user experience of Volto. And then, yeah, as I said, the control panels are missing. But that's about it, right? We published Volto 1.0.0 some time ago already, because we use it in production and we think it's ready for prime time, right? I think you can use it as an agency or as a developer today. Of course, you should have like basic React knowledge and stuff, right? To being able to fix things on your own before I would recommend anybody to actually use it and customize it, because it's one thing to just like deploy Volto, and we all know that then the work starts, right? Then you have to like customize the look and feel. You might have to add new content types and those kind of things. And that's already there. The basics are already there. I gave a training on theming Volto a few weeks ago, and the results were really amazing. I have to say, because I trained a group of non-developers in HTML and basic HTML and CSS and semantic UI, and at the third day they were able to build their own Volto theme, with just standard web technology, no Plone knowledge whatsoever. That was really impressive, I think. It's not like fully documented yet. We have the training from Rob and Victor, but there's still lots of things to document. But I think we already have a theming story. We have already an integration and customization story. So it's really more about like documentation and what we already have than that we're really missing any major building blocks, I'd say.
May I add another question? Means that when I'm using Volto, I have the same functionality like when I use the Yato, that I can disable it and go deeper in the existing Plone and make some stuff in the control panel and then reactivate Volto? Is it to sit in the same direction, or is it completely different?
Victor or Rob, you want to answer that, or do you want to answer that?
So basically it's the same backend. So I mean, both the Volto and the classic backend, as we call it now, are still there, as is the ZMI. So it's the same instance. So you can basically edit stuff in Volto, in Barceloneta, or in the ZMI, and it's all working on the same database. So yeah, stuff will show up indeed.
Okay, so you are able to, so you can disable Volto for a while and then get back, more or less.
You can, yes.
Okay.
I just pasted the API, the Plone URL that is powering volto.kitconcept.com.
Okay.
You can see that Plone is still there. So it's Plone, fully Plone on the back end, then Volto on the top, but it completely separated. So it's not it's not Plone, which is deploying Volto. It's Volto by itself. So they're completely decoupled one from each other.
Yeah, clear. Thank you.
Yep. You can see here on voltokitconcept.com that we have the API, and there's standard Plone, right?
Yeah.
Here. Of course, it does not have the view and stuff, but the basic content is there. So you could think of Volto as just like a way of like theming if you want, or like a replacement for the IASO. Of course, it's a lot more because we basically re-implement half of the Plone stack and simplified that. But in the end, it's something that you can run in parallel and that you can also like take away if you want.
Yeah, thank you.
One thing about the UI or the toolbar, I would really like to see the publish or workflow actions there, because that's for me the last step to make it easy for the user.
Yeah, sure. I can show that. So let me log in again, and then let's say I create a new page. Hello, Plone 6. Save it. I go here. I have it.
Yeah, just bring that to the first level of the toolbar.
Say again.
Bring it just as create, edit, and publish. That should be on the main level.
Yeah, I mean that's open for discussion, I guess. I mean that was a decision from Albert, right, to reduce that really to the most important content actions. And if you want to focus, you always have to remove certain things, right?
Sure, but publish is one piece that we are creating content that gets visible on a website. So
yeah, but that depends on your use case, right? You could also have a like one state workflow system where you don't like have to do that, right? It's still.
I think Albert also made some mock-ups where the publish was in the edit view. So basically, if you press save, then at that stage you can select what you want to do with that page. If you
want.
Want.
Yeah, that's actually something we haven't implemented yet. That he imagined here on the bottom. A field where you could actually publish things. So he wanted to like integrate that more into the natural flow of content editing. And I think this was his idea. And the great thing about Volto is that we can start to like try out things, right? That wouldn't be possible in classic Plone, like the folder-rich approach and those kind of things and simplifying things. And we're still in the process of that. And Volto will evolve over time, and we are in this constant like evaluation where we try out things and see how that works, right? And we haven't implemented Pasanaga UI 100% yet, right? I mean that's a work in progress, but I can tell from my own experience that like say this save button here, right? When I saw that, I hated it, right? I thought, oh my god, this means that every time I type here and I type a long text, right? A long text, then I have to go with the mouse all the way up to here, right? And I will have to do that all the time. And I was always already afraid that I would like spend my time with like the mouse going up and down, right? But the truth is, after 5 minutes, I recognized that I saved so much mouse moving when the save is just like here, right?
Sure.
Way better. And this is something that I would ask everybody to do when they evaluate Volto. Just give it 5 minutes and try it out in your real life and see if it makes your editor life easier or not. Just give it a try and give us feedback, right? And the same is true for the publish thing, right? I would say that we should implement it the way that Albert imagined it, because Albert knows a lot about UX. And we as developers, we don't. And then give it a try. And then we can do A/B testing and we can wait for feedback and we can still like move things around. But I trust Albert a lot on that. Yeah, so it's a... Yeah.
It just made sense to me because I saw it in the original concept that this final action would be a top action.
Yeah, I get your point. You're saying that this is like the complete workflow of the content, right? And
yes.
all the other things are like, actions, display history. They're not, right?
Exactly.
But as said, the idea of Albert was like giving that a prominent view here at the bottom. So you can just say, okay, I want to publish that right away, and even save yourself the click of publishing that. So you could just add new, and then here at the bottom, when you're done with writing that, then you can just say save and publish that thing, right? So be with us and give us a bit more time,
Sure.
or help us even better implementing that, and then let's just see how that goes, right?
Yeah.
And
let me share something. I tried using the website, but it's not working. Yeah, this one. Everybody can see it.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the concept that Albert did, and with here at the bottom, while you are editing, this is the mobile view, right? But we can do that in the desktop as well. Then in the bottom, then you can change directly the ID of the document, because it seems sensible that for an editor to want to customize the ID or the URL that the creation will create how the object will be created, then also change the workflow directly without being to later go and then publish things, right? And here in mobile is the Pastanaga toolbar complete that we still haven't implemented yet. But as you can see, there is not much room here. So if we clutter here in the top with a lot of actions, then it won't work for a same mobile experience, right? So, so it's better to keep that low, and if you have a specific requirement from a client, you can always add the action manually into the toolbar, because it's at the end it's very easy to do in Volto, and you are one file, the customization on one file a way of doing that, right? So it's not that complex to add a new action there at all.
Okay.
And regarding the save button, I can't live without it. So each time that I go back to a Plone site, a normal one, then I miss to have the save button left. But it's something that, as Timo said, it took you like 10 minutes to get used to, because it's super useful to have it always there.
So you're saying we should add it to Barcelona?
Yeah. Yep.
Any other questions? GraphQL, there's a question from Michael. Is GraphQL API on roadmaps? Would it be really interesting to attract new people from the React community? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, or Rob, you want to answer that, or shall I?
Yeah. So GraphQL is definitely something which was hyped a lot, and I'm not saying it's not getting traction within the React community, but it's not the big traction which it should have had, I think. So I can definitely see us using GraphQL in the future, but that also means that we have to implement the whole API first in Plone, which will be a big step. So I don't think definitely not for Plone 6, we probably won't be using it. But yeah, maybe after that, or if people want to spend time to implementing the backend, then we can definitely have a look into that. But currently, it's not on the roadmap.
Question is, what will GraphQL give us what the REST API won't be able to give us, right? And we could put effort into that, and of course, like React developers might be more familiar with GraphQL, but it's not that REST API is like completely off the table.
No, I don't think so. I think there's definitely more people familiar with REST API than they are with the GraphQL API, and that's for React developers. So I don't think we'll be missing out there. I think most APIs in the React community are definitely still REST APIs, and there are some GraphQL stuff in there, but not that many. So I think, well, I mean, by using React already and using Redux and all the default modules, which most people in React community are aware of, will use it. So.
Well, one thing that's important to take into account, I think, is that if you are a Volto developer, you don't deal that much with the REST API directly, right? Because we have Redux, and you work with the data you get from Plone, from the Plone backend, more on the React level than directly on the REST API level most of the time. So I think that's important to take into consideration when discussing this issue, that most of the time you won't even deal with it. It won't matter for you as a React developer or like an integrator for Volto if you have a REST API as a backend or a GraphQL backend. And Nathan and Ramon made also a valid point that GraphQL does not really map well to like tree folder object structure. And I can confirm that when I implemented the REST API on top of like the ZODB on a tree, it felt so natural to me to do like the REST, to design the REST API, because it directly maps to our internal structure. And that's not true for most of the other CMSs on the market. They always have to map that to a relational database schema, which makes it hard for them. But I think REST and the REST paradigm and the ZODB are a very, very good match. But of course, I'm biased as the author of Plone REST API, right? Another question that Rodrigo had was, why can't I add events? Yeah, that's something that I actually missed from the previous reply. The event type is there, but the options to display them, the view is not there yet. So there are also like a few things missing, but the main the add form and the edit form are there already, but we don't display everything that's displayed currently in the event type. But it's not that much work. Are
we planning Volto training? That's a very good question. Indeed, we are. So if you sign up for Sorrento, then there will be free training there. So that's in, what the dates are, more April, I think, or May?
April 12th.
Yeah, April 12th. Yeah, so that's definitely the first time we will be doing training. But if any other training is needed at a sprint or at a conference or anywhere else, and if we have enough attendees, then let us know and we'll consider it. I'm definitely open to giving more trainings.
Yeah, Victor and I also discussed this topic, that we might want to like offer training at the Beethoven sprint, maybe at the day before the Beethoven sprint, to give people that are not too familiar with Volto yet the chance to like pick it up easily. And if we do that, I could also imagine that like other people could show up for like, if it's not far, right, for like a one-day training or something. But of course, we can always like give trainings. I guess we could also offer a corporate training at some point, because I mean, I already gave them, right? And there will of course be like more free trainings, I guess, at the not only in Sorrento, but I guess also at the Plone conference and stuff. And we are always open for people that want to like learn and help us with the documentation, right? If there's something missing, and somebody wants to learn and just like says, hey, folks, I would like to go more in depth into like customizing Volto and stuff, and there's things missing, then we can like point into the right direction, and you can help us with writing documentation. And of course, we're actively working on improving the docs and things.
Yeah. So the link Miguel posted regarding the training, that is indeed the training material which we used in Tokyo. And that's also the material we'll be using in Sorrento and ongoing trainings. Yeah, we're trying to keep it up to date with everything which is happening in Volto.
Yeah, there's also the new Volto docs that is in the URL that I just pasted. And yeah, it's a work in progress. So there's a lot of gaps still in there, but yeah, as Timo said before, bear with us. We will be completing the documentation soon. And yeah, there's already a lot of things there, so you can still go there and take a look at it.
Yeah.
And we will be completing it, yeah, hopefully soon.
Yeah, and another question, as junior React dev, what do I need to learn? Should I look into the workflow of a dev possible? Yeah, so the basic knowledge you'll need to get started with Volto is basic, well, obviously basic JavaScript knowledge. That includes ES6 syntax, which is the new JavaScript syntax, which adds classes and stuff like that. There's a lot of trainings online on Egghead, for example. We're planning on adding those links to add recommended courses to go from there. And then you need React knowledge, of course. There's also a lot of Egghead classes for that as well. And we also created a React course, which I gave in Tokyo as well, which is not only about React, but also about the add-ons we use for Volto. So that includes React Router, Redux, and stuff like that. So you could definitely have a look at that. I will paste a link in the description, but it's also on the training.plone.org. And yeah, so basically, I think that those are the way to go. So to have a look at, so first, no JavaScript, then no ES6, then have a look at the React training material on Plone.org, on training.plone.org, and then go to the Volto training. I think that's the right order. And then, yeah, I think you should be able to get figure pasted the link of the React training. So those are the steps. And after that, you should be able to customize or create your own theme and add views and do all the customization you'll need.
Did I answer your question? Is Gomez? Can they speak? I mean, unmute?
They can. Yeah, I think everybody can unmute themselves and add video or just chat. That's fine as well.
I just thought writing is better.
Yeah.
Victor, another question that you might be able to answer: the status of the contact form from Peter, the contact form and the easy form.
Yeah, there's a PR open. There's only still a few things to solve and to decide, and in fact, it's almost ready to merge regarding contact forms. And there's only some issues to solve. I mean, to decide if we should take the approach that I propose with the how we deal with the server side validation of the reCAPTCHA, because yeah, we wanted to have this by default in all forms from Volto. And an easy way to validate this reCAPTCHA directly from Volto. That don't have to rely in an add-on for Volto for that. But yeah, the idea is to have a reCAPTCHA backend feature available for all forms in Volto, and it's almost there and probably will be merged soon.
Yeah, and regarding the forms. Rob promised that if one of us creates a backend implementation, that the front end implementation of the forms is pretty straightforward. I think he said something like from a day or so.
Yeah, well, so actually the editing schema, which is basically adding a form, that widget is already done. So if you have if you add a field with a schema type, then you can basically add the schema. So that means you can add the form with schema fields like title, description, body text, summary, whatever. Yeah, so indeed, all the backend is the only stuff which needs to be added. Only maybe like handling what actually happens to the form when you submit it. And if we have API calls for that, I can just finish it up, and it should be really easy. So that's definitely something we could definitely do in the beta or sprints, for example.
I think for the Volto team considers form gen or easy form as kind of a requirement for like Plone 6, because it's like it's not in core in Plone yet, but we consider it to be like absolutely necessary to be there, right? So it's definitely something that we'll accomplish in the next year. But of course, if anybody is interested in like helping us, there are more than.
Maybe we should add it to core. Maybe write a blip to see what the framework team thinks.
Yeah, sure. Or we just add it to Volto and like, get it in under the hood.
I mean, we need some backup implementation as well, so that needs a blip.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so we would need to get the backend implementation into core. I already started with a backend implementation, but I didn't get too far, to be honest. So, but yeah, that shouldn't be too hard either, right? Because it's not that much what Plone and Easy Form do on the backend side, right? Just store the schema and then make sure that you can like do the actions like sending emails and storing CSV data and stuff like that. So that shouldn't be too hard.
Nope.
There's another one for you, Rob. Manage syncing client side Redux. So the server side was a client side.
Yeah. So
want to answer that?
Yeah, sure. So currently we have two backend implementation. One is REST API, so that actually will just, as you would normally do, fetch data from the backend, and it will not handle all changes pushed by the server directly. So that means if you navigate to a different page, then it will fetch new data, obviously. But if somebody changes something in the backend, then it won't update. But on the Costa Brava sprint, we tried to get Guillotina hooked up to Volto, and Guillotina does support WebSocket implementation. Though, so there we actually could do live updates, and we also did like a really premature demo of during collaboration, so collaborative editing and stuff like that. So yeah, if we have a WebSocket implementation in Plone with the same API as the REST API, basically it's just a wrapper around it, then we can definitely do live updates and server changes directly pushed to the client.
And when I discussed this with Asko, he said that it wouldn't be too hard to implement that on top of like standard Plone as well. No idea, but could be, right?
Yeah, it's always the backend, which takes ages.
we already have it in Guillotina, right? And of
indeed.
And I guess in your Node backend, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. What else? Yeah, sure. So let's just switch to the Node backend.
We could. Yeah, the Volto on the demo support Plone 5. Yeah, it's running Plone 5. I don't know.
5.1, I think.
5.1 something.
1, yeah.
Yeah.
1, yeah.
But I guess our plan is to, as soon as we have 5.2 final, to move it to 5.2 and Python 3 as well.
Yeah, sure. It works. It's only that. Yeah. The demo is now in 5.1. Yeah.
So I see a comment bye Diazo. That is true and it isn't true. So I think Dylan had a comment on the community forums saying, okay, but I want to do Diazo, and you're forcing me to stop using Diazo. But it's actually not. So we're using React. Well, it's written in JavaScript, but it's using both. It's generated on the front end, but the first hit is always rendered on the back end. So that actually means if you turn off JavaScript in your browser, then browsing the website will still work. So that also means that you can also still use Diazo on top of Volto. I'm not saying you should, but I'm saying you can. I mean that means that the browsing the website will definitely work when you put Diazo on top of it. The editing experience is probably a different story, but I mean. Could work. I don't know. I will definitely not need to look into that. But if other people want to do something like that, then they can. But I mean, I think browsing is definitely something which is rather easy to do with Volto and with Diazo on top of it.
Mikkel asked a question that I can maybe answer. Hi, Mikkel. Nice to see you here. Yeah, we actually run into that problem because, as said, we have Volto run in production. So the thing about SEO is that this was actually one of the main reasons why we moved from Angular 2 to React, because React can do server-side rendering, right? So your index in Google, and we can confirm that this works without any problem. Of course, you have the problem that the API content is visible at the same time as the Volto frontend, because you have the Volto frontend on the main URL, and then you have /API or something similar, where Plone is. What you need to do is to customize your robots .txt to exclude the API, or maybe rip out the entire Plone UI and just like serve JSON, right? But this is just like a configuration issue on your web server. That's it. And then Volto works fine with search engine optimization like any other system, and you don't have any problem because, as Rob said, we do server-side rendering, so we deliver the HTML like a Python system would do. So there's no issue whatsoever. The only thing that you have to take into account is the robots .txt, and that's it. We actually built already an add-on for one of our projects for search engine optimization on top of Volto, that allows people to customize a few things for pages, right? So that I can definitely confirm that this works fine, and that this isn't an issue at all. Any other questions or anything that you would like to elaborate? Okay, Rodrigo said that he's not sure if Diazo will work on top of React because at that level, Diazo don't process the JavaScript.
No, that's true. So basically, as I said, if you just want to do the browsing part, so just the theming and just browsing to your website, then that'll work because that's just server-side rendered. That's the same as you would just browse your Volto page with JavaScript disabled. But the whole editing experience with all that stuff, that probably won't work. But yeah, indeed, server-side that'll work.
Yeah.
So you could do indeed just write your theme in Diazo and have your editing experience on a different URL with Volto and which is not themed.
Yep, which is what I think Dylan is doing anyways. So
I think so too.
That's an option. So you can use Diazo for your front end if you want to, but I guess we wouldn't recommend it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, on my personal side, I'm happy to say bye to Diazo. I don't know, guys, what do you think? But I won't miss it at all.
Bye-bye.
No, but I mean, if people want to use it, why not? I mean,
yeah, why not? Yeah, but I don't know. I won't miss it.
Yeah, I like Diazo a lot, but it's like over the years, I came to the conclusion that it's not really making theming easier. It just makes the first 10% super easy, or maybe the first 80% or whatever. That makes it super easy and super fast. But in the end, the amount of time that you have to put into a theme is the same, no matter if you use the standard approach or Diazo. And I think what we have in Volto with just like standard web technology that every web developer already knows, right? That's like so much better than our own theming mechanism, which is like great, and it was a great idea back in the days. But it's so much better to rely on standard web technology that everybody understands and that everybody can customize than on our own thing. And I think that's a huge improvement. And I will never look back to Diazo, even though I liked it. But it's something that's not necessary in modern web development or in Volto. And I think that's a huge improvement. And I think people will see that once they gave Volto a try.
There's an XSLT NPM package, so.
So we could still like,
wow, to make it even worse.
No, please.
You could just say, like, tell Dylan that he can like do that if he wants, and then we can be sure that it won't happen, right?
Oh man.
I think that always Diazo failed on the promise that I don't know how that sentence was like yeah, we write as XSLT so you don't have
So
it.
you don't have to.
So so yeah, that was a lie. And you have to well know XSLT if you want to do more than simple things. And yeah, and it's not approachable by newbies that doesn't know a thing about XSLT and things like that. So that's.
I teach XSLT in university, and students, like, it took university students like half a year to understand like even the basics, right? XSLT is so complex, especially when it comes to details. I think I have a book here, even like this is like so thick. It's like, it's not a technology that's like very approachable.
Probably written in German, so.
And 20 years ago.
The text is a lot longer, so that's.
Here, it's in English.
Oh, it's
Oh, yeah, good.
And I actually read it.
No.
Long time before Diazo came to the world.
So is semantic UI a hard requirement? Well, we use quite a lot of semantic UI definitely for the editing experience. For the theming, your site, you're pretty free to use anything you want basically. But if you like get rid of semantic UI, CSS altogether, then you would definitely need to style your own editing stuff. So you could do it. But I guess just keeping the semantic UI stuff in there is definitely the way to go. Yeah, but for your own theming, you can just add the other stuff. And yes, we are using the less SCSS implementation, which I don't get your question. So do we use the less implementation or the CSS implementation? We're using a less implementation of semantic UI. And that's the reason is that the SCSS can't do what's it called? So there's like dynamic imports which are needed to get the whole semantic UI theming working, and that's not supported in SCSS or in SAS, but it is supported in less. So that's why semantic UI uses less. And semantic UI is indeed something like Bootstrap. But it's a lot more. So actually, Bootstrap has all the basic styling there, and Split Semantic UI has a lot more controls, a lot more menus and everything. And it also has the nice implementation in React and other libraries as well. So that's what we're using it for. And the theming story is really, really, really nice. So you basically just have your own the default styling there from Semantic UI. You can override it with the theme which is already provided by Semantic UI or by the community, and you can provide your own Semantic UI theme. And you can do that on component base basically. So you can just say, okay, I want the menus from this theme, and I want to override this part, and it uses a system where you have both variables. So everything, like almost everything, is like base properties which we used to have before. You can just say, okay, I want this font size or this color, etc. And then you have, if you don't have enough about just adding base properties, then you can also change your the CSS yourself, so you can override it. So that's one of the reasons we chose Semantic UI over, let's say, Bootstrap.
Yeah, I can add that the theming experience on Semantic UI and theming engine is something that it's outstanding, and I was really impressed of it. And I encourage all of you to take a look at it and learn it, and because it's really nice. Of course, you can drop whatever you want apart from semantic UI, because you can keep the semantic UI styling and then add your own on the top of whatever you want, not only to reuse third-party plugins or libraries of components or your own components, and then write that CSS in whatever you want. It even drops the CSS there and make it work with the CSS along with the already there semantic UI theme engine.
Any other questions missing, or anything that you would like us to show? No? Anybody?
We have to go for the karaoke session anyway now, Timo.
Oh yeah, right. So you start.
I think there's a video from Tokyo left somewhere.
No, there's not.
I keep it as hostage.
You already blackmailed me.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there are no questions left, we plan to continue to do a meeting like that on a regular basis. So if people have questions, we're here to help. Of course, we can always help via the GitHub issue tracker. So if you give Volto a shot, and you run into any problems, right? Please don't assume that you're doing it wrong. If you have any problems, just please report them on the issue tracker, right? Give Volto a shot, both on development level, as well as go to voltokitconcept.com regularly to check it out. Please give us feedback on the UX as well. I said that at the Plone talk in Munich to people already. If you try out the Volto editor, please do a screen recording of your first experience with it and just send that to us so that we can see what you're doing and what problems you might run into, because our aim is really to have a super user-friendly editor there. And please give us feedback on all levels, both on development level and on user level, right? Or if you show that to clients, please give us their feedback, what they think about it, what they think that is missing, what questions they might have. We're more than happy to help here, and the state that Volto is in right now is really, I think, stable and ready for production use, and we want other companies and developers to give it a shot, go out to their clients, start to sell it, and if there's anything that we can do to help, if it's trainings or helping with documentation, please let us know. We're more than happy to do whatever we can to help you. Okay, if there are no further questions, then thanks everybody, and hope to see you soon in Sorrento, in Bonn, or anywhere else in the world, right?
Indeed. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.